Now, when it comes to anime, there's one thing a lot of people love when it comes to anime. That is women with guns. And I want to talk about a series that is known for women's and guns, and that's not Black Lagoon, but a series that is similar to Black Lagoon because they're brought up like about the time. Whenever you bring up one of them, you always bring up the other because they have some type of similarities. And yes, Jormungand. Now, Jormungand is a anime that deals with arms dealing, where like Black Lagoon, when you compare it to Black Lagoon, you know, they're criminals, where in Jormungand they're really not criminals, but they are in a way. They do illegal arms dealing at times, but at the same time they're part of this corporation. But then you do have like the FBI and other things that want to go after them. But I do see why a lot of people like compare them, because one, you have women with guns, you have strong women with guns, and then in Jormungand's case, you have Vermint, who's a buff woman, you know, she's super buff, just saying, and she's nice. But like, you have a lot of stuff like that, and that's why they're really comparable. And there's a lot of action and selling weapons and all this other stuff like that, so that's why a lot of people compare them. But Jormungand does a lot of different things compared to Black Lagoon, because one, like I said, they're a corporation, or just Coco works in a corporation, but she has her own section that controls like Africa and like parts of like Europe in a way, like if that's for her section. But she goes out and she sells like guns and other weapons to militaries and other organizations, along on the side of her having her own plans that, you know, eventually comes to fruition in a way, or at least leads up to it towards the end, because we get like all these little sneak peeks about what's her actual plan is. But yeah, let's talk about Jormungand and get into like all the stuff about it, because her name is Coco and she's loco. I said, oh no. Yes, now Jormungand has an amazing sub and dub. So now I really enjoyed the dub a lot. The dub was really good. I did like the sub, but I love the dub a little bit more. And plus, you get her name is Coco and she's loco. I said, oh no, and you need that in English. Just saying, you need that. But I digress. Though, let's talk about the story of Jormungand. Now, Jormungand follows this woman named Coco who works for this organization. She sells basically weapons and stuff to organizations and the ex-military and other military, and along the way she has bodyguards who are all like either ex-military or just somebody that's ex something, because she needs protection because she's selling all these weapons, and she does not use these guns or anything herself. She might hold one, but she does not use them herself. She has all these bodyguards that her protect her. And one of the other people that come along the way is this person named Jonah, who is a child soldier who basically hates war and he hates guns, but he ends up working for Coco because basically he gets dropped off and he kind of gets picked up because of Jasper in a way, and that Jasper is Coco's older brother. But yeah, he joins Coco, and like he has to kind of like fight against his ideologies or his ideals, I'll say, mainly because he does not like war, he doesn't like guns, he doesn't want to do any of that. So like when Coco's doing all this stuff, selling weapons and all that, he always has to fight against it because he's just thinking in his head like against his morals, because like he does not like war and any of that. And like he still follows Coco and all that, and we see that Coco does have a grand plan because she does not like war and all that either. And we know eventually that leads into like what she's building with, you know, with the satellites and the computers and all that she's building with her friend that's in Africa, that she's trying to like stop war, because I think she was trying to make like this thing that would shut off like all the computers around the whole world, so everybody would basically go back to the Stone Ages in a way, because you would not have technology. So yeah, you or I guess you say like the old times before technology and electricity and all that, whatever. I digress. So yeah, that's what she was mainly doing. But you really see like the two different sides between Coco and him, and then along the line you do have Jasper, because trust me, he hates Jasper, and Jasper just shows another different tale of like arms dealing, because one, he works for the same company but he's a little bit higher up. And we do get a lot of backstories for all the characters, because this is an anime that is very character driven, because we learn about all these characters. Yes, there is a story, but it's driven by the characters, because we learn so many different backstories for each character. And we learn about Vermette, and like how when it came to her, she used to be ex-military, she used to be an officer, but in Africa her whole unit got taken out by this one person, and eventually we see like how that comes back to like haunt her, because we do see the person that eventually took out her unit, and she wants to get her revenge and all that. So I mean, we get a lot of backstory each character on like why they're exactly here with Coco, and even when it comes to like Coco and Jasper, and when it comes to their dad and how they really don't like their father and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things there that we learn, and like it is driven by there. But the main kind of plot of like this whole story is just like how Coco, it's building up to like Coco like having this secret plan that eventually gets revealed at the end of like season 2, like in the like the final last arc. And then we have like Jonah trying to go against Coco because he does not agree with anything Coco's doing, because he does not agree with that shit at all, because he's looking at Coco like, nah, this is not it. But yeah, Jormungand is a really good anime, especially if you want to watch something that deals with arms dealings. and something that'll give you the similar like itch of Black Lagoon, because if you're looking for that firepower and all the stuff like that, because trust me, all the deals they do, it usually ends with gunfire and explosions, and I will say there's a lot more gunfire and explosions than what was in Black Lagoon, because and we constantly have them running from the FBI, because like we have this FBI agent, all these other things that are happening behind the scenes, and we have people like sliding deals, and you see like all the corruption that can happen in these military, and even with the FBI, because we see the one guy they're after, he's corrupt too, and we see how some of the how they get people back with some of the deals that they make. But overall, it's a really good series. It has 2 seasons and it's phenomenal. And her name is Coco and she's loco. I said, oh no. But yeah, trust me, I love that song. But I love all of it. And also, shout out to Vermint, because I'm just saying, the first time I saw Vermint, I was looking like, oh, I said muscle baddie, because like she was so like muscle. It was just nice. Like the episode when she's in the base, I was like, god damn. Just say when I first saw that. And plus, like they're all adults besides Jonah, because Jonah's a child, you know, soldier, and he hates war. And it's interesting seeing Jonah's side of this, because he really does not like using a gun, any of that, but like he kind of at times has to use it because of the situations they all get put in, but he really does not want to do it because like his trauma that he has, and plus he hates Jasper for all the stuff that he went through. But at the same time, he does realize some of the orphans that he was with, they actually survived and they're actually living nicer. So that was one of the good things that you could say Jasper did, but also Jasper was holding stuff, you know, to his head in a way. And even when it comes to Jasper, he has like a bodyguard that has like a backstory and all that, and especially when it comes to her, the woman's backstory that he's with is like married, used to be married to like one of the bodyguards that's with Coco. So you see like how closely knit the two brother and sister are when it comes to like even bodyguards and like backstory and all the stuff they go through. And you see that even Coco, she has this grand plan that she never even told her brother, and it just ends up like interesting like towards the end of like how it all ends, and like how when it comes to like Coco's grand plan and what she was actually going to do, because even at that point Jasper's just looking like, oh, this is what she was doing, huh, interesting. So it's just interesting. I like the dynamic between those two, because we kind of see two vastly different sides, because one, you have Jasper that's running everything like I think in Asia and all that, and then you have Coco Africa and like a little bit of Europe, and we can see like how Jasper's kind of like, he's kind of like higher up in the company, and he does like a lot of other sales, and we see like other arms dealers that they have to deal with when they go to the military and show them certain weapons. So like I said, overall it's just them being arms dealers and showing stuff to the military, and it's always interesting seeing the difference between like the different arms dealers and like how the different deals they make and all that, and how what Coco and all of them have to do to sabotage stuff and make it that they can make money, because they're only concerned about making money, and then sometimes they don't, but then it ends up like leading to like the people realizing, oh, we do need Coco and all of them. But yeah, if you're looking for action, the action's amazing, even though there's a lot of explosions and gun violence that happens on different sides. Sometimes the FBI come in, sometimes there's other like past military or ex-military they have to deal with, but it's just interesting altogether, and like some of the different characters we meet, because it's very driven by the characters, because there's so many different characters, even the side characters that have connections to Coco and all this other stuff. And Coco as a main character is really good, because at the end of the day, she knows what she's doing is bad, like she knows it, but she wants to have her own outcome. Like she even tells Jonah that she's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing is bad, but this is the outcome that I want, and I'm gonna get it my way. And even the people around her that follow her, some of them know, like Vermint realizes at some point, she's just like, yo, I'm gonna follow Coco wherever I want, because Vermint is literally in love with Coco, and she's always gonna follow her, because Coco actually helped all these people out, because they all were at the bottom of the barrel, and they all were just like feeling like they didn't have nothing else they can do in their life. And then Coco came and she's kind of saved every individual one that's like part of her bodyguard by doing something. There's some that she had connections to already, but majority of them, that's like for the most part, that's like the story of like how they met, is like Coco eventually like gave them jobs that they can start doing stuff, making money, maybe taking care of family members that they don't see or barely see like that. But yeah, if you see Jormungand, let me know how you feel about it. If you haven't seen it, why not check it out? It's a really dope anime. I'm pretty sure you can watch this on Funimation, or you can get it on Blu-ray like how I got it, or you might be able to watch it on Crunchyroll, but I'm not sure exactly if it came on Crunchyroll yet, because you know the merger, and you know they're taking forever to get certain anime and licenses like Funimation has, so I'm not sure if it's on there yet. But I know you can still watch it on Funimation, or you know, hop in a pirate ship, watch it that way too though. But yeah, if you've seen this, let me know how y'all feel about this anime, because it's a really dope anime. And like I said, if you want Black Lagoon feels, then you'll need to watch this anime, because they're very similar, but it's a really dope anime that more people need to watch. But I'm pretty sure if you've been watching anime for years, you more than likely have seen this. But if you've not seen it, check it out. Really dope anime. I love the difference between like the arms dealer, because it's a vastly different than Black Lagoon. Like, it has similarities, but it is vastly different. But I see why a lot of people compare them because of some of the similarities, but it is vastly different because, one, they're a whole big organization and corporation, all that, where the Lagoon Company is just a little illegal criminal, I guess you say, little group that works in a very illegal town. But still, Revy's a badass, of course Vermint's a badass in this show, so yes, that's why you get the similarities plus other badasses. Because I will say, this show does have a lot of women that are badasses, so if you're looking for a lot of women that are badasses, then this show will have that. Like, women that use guns and like they're good with it. Trust me, there's a lot in this show, and we get to see a lot of different ones, especially when it comes to other organizations trying to send hits on Coco and other stuff. Because trust me, people are going to try and send hits on Coco, they do. But then you have Vermint and like the whole squad that sometimes they do get in a pinch, because there's a few episodes when you're looking like, you're thinking like, oh shit, is Coco really going to get killed or something's going to happen to Coco? But then you realize somehow they make it out of it. But there's a lot of like stuff in here though. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, why not like? If you did, you could dislike, subscribe, really enjoyed. But yeah, check out this anime if you haven't seen it. It's a really dope series, especially if you want to see women with guns, and like not even just women, just people in general with guns, and you know, having some type of violence, explosions, shootouts, stuff like that, selling weapons, and then getting into other crimes, and like a whole big overarching plan that really happens. And if you see anime that's driven by characters, because this series is driven by all the characters, because there's a story, but it's more focused on the characters, because we get so many like backstories and past stuff for the characters, and so much connections to all the characters, and like stories that are kind of like intertwined when it comes to all the characters too. But it's a really dope anime that people need to watch though. But thanks for watching. That's the next video. Goodbye.